kind of roles you're choosing these days? What interests you in roles? Is it how the voice is? Is it what the character is?
Well, Leonora, it's one of my favorite roles. It's absolutely amazing to sing. It's difficult, it's long, but the music is so breathtaking. So every time I'm performing this, I'm really enjoying it so much. And I just did it in Salzburg, and I'm very happy to perform in this beautiful production of David McVicker in a few days. So we are ready to go. It's an exciting performance.
Last year you had that thrilling Lady Macbeth at the Met, and Jolanta. It seems like you're changing what kinds of roles are attracting you these days.
Yeah, I changed already a few years ago, and I feel very comfortable in my new roles. It takes more time to prepare them because they're more difficult. And of course, they require a very strong health and very strong mind. But I'm looking forward to my other new roles, which is coming in the next years.
Peter, one of the things that always fascinates me at the beginning of the opera season is the extent to which the Metropolitan Opera House becomes sort of an opera factory. I mean, every time I go there before the season starts, it's like a light industrial park on the Upper West Side, and you have set builders on one floor and people sewing and wig makers, and then you have, serious opera stars like in every corner of the building. So what's going on there this week?
Well, that goes on all season. So it's, in fact, this is actually a light week for us because next season we not only have all that going on, plus we have performances. So it's the days become longer. But right now we have Trovatore, which is being prepared for next Friday night's opening, and we have Tannhäuser, which is coming a few weeks later, which James Levine is rehearsing in a rehearsal room 2 levels below the stage in what's called sea level, where he's got a great cast of Johann Botha and Peter Mattei and Eva Marie Westbrook, and I mean, in fact, many, if not most, of the world's greatest opera singers seem to be congregated in New York right now, getting ready for this opening. So we have the cast of Otello, which had its final dress rehearsal yesterday, which hasn't stopped Bart from continuing to rehearse it nonetheless. And he just came from a rehearsal with the principals, and which was taking place was on the 5th floor.
No, I was on the sea level too.
Oh, no wonder I couldn't find you.
I know, right?
We have rehearsal rooms spread out all over the building, and as you pointed out, we have workrooms everywhere. There are people making wigs. There's a costume factory which is making tens of thousands of costumes for all the different productions, and we're a busy place.
Bart, I'd like to ask you, is there anything on your opera directing bucket list that you would really like to take on?
Oh, my goodness. I do. Next year I'm doing a production of Tosca in Germany, so that's something I'm looking forward to. I try not to think too far ahead that way. I've always wanted to do Porgy and Bess, so that's one I would love to do. I'm a little worried about doing it all the time. Not because I don't love it, but because I like being able to do plays and musicals and operas. So the one that I've always wanted to do for the last 20 years has been Falstaff, because I just think it's absolutely my favorite of them all. So
you said something interesting to me the other day at the rehearsal of Otello about the rhythm of directing a play being different from an opera. Can you explain to people a little bit what you mean by that?
I mean, it's a little bit complicated, but if you take, if us speaking here and we speak in a certain period of time, a Shakespeare monologue, which could be, 40, 50 lines, is a lot of words over a very fast span of time. Whereas to sing something like that is a much slower, because it's controlled by the music, and much slowed down. So you have to act the same event over a much longer arc of time. So you have to sustain it. She's unbelievably good at this, sustaining all that emotional drive over a much longer period of time to get to where you want to go and hold on to it, hold the motor of that going. And I especially learned working on the Verdi how intelligent Boito was to handle only what he could handle in the libretto from the play. And to be able to follow 2 or 3 or 4 really strong actions all the way through. And then when you get to the single thought that in Shakespeare could be, could go by very quickly and cover 50 categories, is one long extended idea in a musical thing, and any kind of musical arietta, aria, what have you. So you have to recalibrate your sense of time, and remember why it is so hard and why it is so hard for singers, because they have to sustain twice, 3 times, 5 times the energy and the emotional energy over a longer period of time at a much louder volume to a much greater place. Mm-hmm. And that's just fascinating, difficult thing to accomplish, but totally different.
The last 2 years that I've covered Met opening nights, there have been protests out in the street. Last year there was the Klinghoffer protest, although the opera inside was the Marriage of Figaro. And the year before there was a protest of the Eugene Onegin after the anti-gay legislation was passed in Russia. And last year at Jolanta, there was something I'd never seen in many years of going to the opera. At the curtain call, a pro-Ukrainian protester bounded over the orchestra pit during the curtain call when you were taking your bow. What was that experience like?
I mean, I was okay. I was smiling at him. I think he just... if he has an issue with me or with Gergiev, he has to face me, not come and do protest among the people who just did the performance, who has nothing to do with the problem.
Mm-hmm. And how has it been juggling these issues, being a star who has a career in Russia and a career in the United States at a time of these tensions?
I can do nothing. Mm-hmm. I can do nothing. I'm Russian, even if I have an international career, I still have a Russian passport, and I was born in this country. And of course, it's horrible to see what's happening and what people in the war, and and it's all wrong, and we don't want that, of course. But I cannot go and do protests. I cannot do nothing. I just can sing and bring people together, make them happy. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm. Good. And